Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
This is the Washington Times front page for Monday, April 29th, 2024. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm George Gerbo. The Biden administration is again delaying a decision to ban menthol-flavored cigarettes because of feedback from minority groups. Jeff Murdoch reports White House officials said the proposed rule became mired in an intra-agency review, and they needed more time to hear from outside groups before deciding whether to proceed with the ban. Proposals for a ban have been in the works for several years, but the White House keeps missing internal deadlines, including a January deadline to issue a ruling amid pushback from minority and civil liberties groups. Public health advocates have demanded the ban, but criminal justice organizations argue it would unfairly criminalize a product popular among black smokers. The IRS fell short of its original goal of users for the first year of its direct file program, with just a little more than 140,000 taking advantage of the online program. Stephen Dinan reports Biden administration officials insisted the pilot was a success, with millions of people checking out the tool and more than 420,000 logging in. Only a small subset of taxpayers used the pilot, which was limited to residents of just 12 states. Those who did use the program gave it good reviews. The IRS said that 90% of users in a survey of 11,000 ranked their experience as above average or excellent. Critics say the rise of ISIS-K and America's limited ability to do anything about it illustrate the flaws of banking on an over-the-horizon strategy as an adequate replacement for boots on the ground. The concept of remote technology-aided strikes was central to President Biden's justification for withdrawing U.S. forces from Afghanistan, Ben Wolfgang reports. But some analysts caution that it's too simplistic to say the U.S. could have prevented the rise of ISIS-K if the president had taken a different path and kept at least some troops in Afghanistan. Pentagon officials say over-the-horizon strikes have provided viable options in some circumstances. They point to a U.S. drone strike in July 2022 that killed al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahiri. Supreme Court rulings this term will advance federal law on the powers of the presidency and clarify decisions in recent years on abortion and the Second Amendment. Alex Sawyer reports court watchers say the court will work diligently to issue opinions on those cases and more by the end of June or by early July before their summer recess. Last week, the court heard final arguments of the 2023 term in cases that test whether cities can find homeless encampments that create public health and safety concerns, whether emergency rooms must perform abortions in states that ban the procedure, and whether former President Trump has absolute immunity from criminal charges. And finally, China's electric vehicle companies are heavily denting U.S. and Japanese car sales in Thailand. Chinese manufacturers are investing more than $1 billion to assemble EVs in the country. Thailand has had a thriving automaking industry for decades and is Southeast Asia's largest vehicle manufacturer and exporter. At least 8 Chinese EV makers have been approved for production investments in Thailand. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.
Hello, Saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.